Hey, church family. Hope you're doing well today. Wanted to just share a little bit what God's been teaching me this week. Kind of gave the challenge to the youth group and doing it myself, but we're reading through the Sermon on the Mount each day. And so I've been reading Matthew 5, 6, and 7. And so I wanted to share real quick just a couple of the takeaways I had from that. It's interesting with that sermon. Some people, again, try to explain that Jesus is giving new information or he's giving a new take on the law. But I really think in that passage what he's doing is really giving God's original heart and intention for the law in the first place. And so you kind of get that idea when Jesus says, you've heard it said, but I say to you. And then he gives explanation. He talks about a wide variety of things such as anger or lust or anxiety and how we typically understand those things, and then gives God's original heart and intention behind that. So as I thought about that, I think it's really interesting as we think about this season with the coronavirus. As I deal with anger and anxiety and fears and relational things, what is God's original intent on how I would navigate those aspects? And so it's helped me just to have a fresh perspective on how I look at that passage. So I want to share just two quick things from the Sermon on the Mount that stood out to me. And again, specifically how that relates to what I'm going through right now. So first thing, I really like in the Beatitudes portion in Matthew chapter 5, verse 6, Jesus specifically says, "Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be satisfied." I love that passage because it's a reminder to me that when I am striving after doing what's right, when I'm pursuing justice, when I'm pursuing the things that I know make God glad, that's where I find satisfaction at. And especially thinking how each of our schedules are probably looking a little different right now. What is it that I'm going to be satisfied in? What am I going to find fulfillment in? And it's not binge watching my favorite show. It's not working on all these different projects. Oh, it's doing what's right. It's pursuing what's just. And so that's just a good reminder to me that that's where I find my satisfaction at. The other thing, just in light of what's going on, that has just been a little bit of a challenge is in verses 13 through 16 of chapter 5. It talks about how as disciples, we are the salt of the earth and the light of the world. And both of those are meant to be descriptions of how we interact with the world. And if we fail to be salty or we fail to shine our light that Jesus has given to us, we are not functioning the way God would intend for us to function. And so for me, I just kind of wrestle, how am I showing my light during this season? How can I even do that? If I can't be around people, how can I shine my light to others? And so just trying to pray through, okay, what are the opportunities that I do have? And, it's been a good challenge for me just to call people. I rarely do that as much as I should. And so to intentionally just talk to people and to try to be kind and try to be a stability factor even in this season, that's been a way that I've been trying to apply that and work on that. I encourage you, if you have not read the Sermon on the Mount recently, read the Sermon on the Mount. It's a great passage, and it's so relevant to what we're going through right now. So those are a couple things that God's been teaching me, and hope you're doing well, church, and we'll talk with you.